Hello guys, welcome to day 20 of our 30 days of code challenge. And in today's session, we're building a drawing board. So this drawing board will enable you to showcase your creativity by drawing whatever you want on the board. So let's build a drawing board using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So right about now, I'm sharing. So I'll be opening my code editor and I'm making use of VS Code. So in the VS Code, under my 30 days of code folder, phone. In my 30 days of code folder, I'll be creating another folder known as day 20. Then under the day 20, I'll be creating a file. So the name of this file is going to be index.html. Index.html. Cool. Very good. Okay. So the title of the document, I'm going to change it to drawing board. So the title should be drawing board. Title is drawing board. Good. So the first one, I want to create an header. So this header should have an heading. So the heading should be drawing board. So let me go live. Although for a start, we won't be saying much on the web page for our today's project. So we have drawing board. So I want to bring this drawing board, I want to bring it to the center of my screen. So to do that, I will just type some HTML. I'll add some CSS file in the HTML. So I'll embed some CSS file in the HTML. So move the drawing board to the center of my screen. I'm going to have style is equal to text align center. So with that text align center, you can see that the title or the heading is now on the center of the screen. So my heading have now been moved to the center of the screen. So after creating the header, another thing I want to create now, I want to create a div. I want to create a div now. And I want to give this div an ID of board. I want to give this div an ID of board. So this ID or this div, this board, this is what is going to represent our drawing board. So our drawing board will be inside this inside this div. So this is a div with an ID of board. Let's style this board a little bit. So I'll come to the header, style. So this is an ID, that will be hashtag of board. We can't see this board as of yet. So this board, I want it to have a display. I want it to have a display of grid. Now the grid templates column should have a repeat. So I want it to be 20 boxes. And these 20 boxes should have a width of 20 pixels. So that will be repeat 20 and 20 pixels. Okay. So that's cool for that. Then I want to give it a margin. So let's give it a margin. So let's give the margin of 2 rem auto. Great. So we can't really see much of it here because we still have to like build it using the JavaScript. But this is just the styling that we want the board to have when it finally comes into play. So without wasting any much time, let's move back to our body of the HTML. So let's create our script. So this script is going to represent our JavaScript file. So the first thing that we want in our JavaScript file, we want to declare the board. That will be const board. So the const board should be equal to document dot get element by ID, and we want to use an ID of what? ID of board. So we just declared the board in JavaScript. So after declaring the board, we are going to have a function of for open bracket let I to be equal to 0, and then I is less than 400. So as the I is incrementing with an increase in I plus plus, we should have a function saying console should be equal to document dot create element. Document dot create element. So we want to create an element of div. Very good. Now I'm going to say cell dot class name. Cell dot class name should be equal to cell. So the cell dot class name should be equal to what? Should be equal to cell. Okay, this is cool. So now let's so what we just did there, we just created a cell. You know, like our drawing board have some spaces in between. So this cell is going to represent the spaces in between the board. So the board is going to be like the framework, while the cell will be the segments inside the drawing board. So what the functionality that we are about to X now is that whenever you click on the mouse, you should be able to draw anything. You should be able to carry out your drawing. But whenever you release the mouse, then you should be able to hover freely without drawing. So you should only draw when you are clicking down on the mouse. So that's what we want to add now. That we want to tell the program, we want to program it in such a way that it only draws when it is being clicked upon, when the mouse is being clicked down. So now let is drawing equals to false. So let is drawing equals to false. So with this, we have documents dot add event listener. Now the first one is going to be mouse down. So mouse down means when you click down on the mouse. So whenever you click down on the mouse, its drawing should be equal to true. So if you are clicking down on the mouse, then you should be able to draw. But when you release the mouse, you should not draw. So that's what I want to write now. That's still documents dot add event listener. So that will be mouse up. Mouse up. Yeah. So whenever you release the mouse, you should not draw. So its drawing will be set to false. But if you are clicking down on the mouse, then its drawing is what? Its drawing is true. So that its drawing is false, or its drawing is what? Its drawing is true. So this is good. So with this, we are going to have cell dot add event listener mouse over. So this mouse over allows us to move our mouse over the board. Mouse over. So this functionality means that if you are moving our mouse, over the board, now if it is drawing, that is, if it is drawing, and don't forget the condition for drawing, it only draws when you click down on the mouse. So if it is drawing, then the cell dot style dot background, yeah, so the style dot background should be equal to so it should be equal to black. I'm having an error message. Okay, so neglecting it for a minute. So we have board dot append child, board dot append child cell, board dot append child cell. So now let's style this cell. Let's style the cell a little bit. So we'll come down to the CSS. So the cell is a class, so we're going to have dot cell. So the cell is going to have a width of 20 pixels, width of 20 pixels, height of 20 pixels. It's going to have a border. So the border should be 1 pixels solid. The border should be 1 pixels solid, and then the color should be EEE. That's great. It should be 400 pixels. So yeah, I forgot to add a comma there. I forgot to add a comma. So because I did not add the comma, I was getting an error. So that's the reason why nothing was displaying on the web page. But the moment I add the comma, you can see that we now have our drawing board. So let me maximize my screen so you can see what we have. So this is what we have just created. We have just created our what? We just created our drawing board and our beautiful drawing board. So how does this work actually? So if you move your mouse around the drawing board, nothing happens. But the moment you start clicking on it, then you start drawing. So let me try. Very good, it's working. So now, very good. Wow, this is nice. Very good. So using our drawing board, we just created an hello message. So this is our code and this is our hello message. You can make it more beautiful than this, you can make it far more attractive than this. So this is just a try. So this is what I've just done today. So today, using the functionality, using the power, using the effectiveness of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, we are able to create a stunning dashboard. So this is our dashboard. So let me quickly do. No. It's on the it's on the so so that's what we have just created today. So now, using our HTML, we were able to create the structure, and the structure is just the heading, and then we created a div with a board. So using our CSS, we were able to style this drawing board, making it to be 20 boxes, and each box should have a height of 20 pixels, a width of 20 pixels. So in general, we have 400 boxes. That's the reason why we have 40 boxes. So that's the reason why the width is what 400. So then using the JavaScript, we're able to add the functionality. And the main functionality we add using the form using JavaScript is that once we click on the mouse, now if you hover around the drawing board, nothing happens. But when you click on the mouse, then you can start drawing. Thank you so much for joining us in today's session. This is all we'll be having for today. And in our subsequent session, we look forward to creating more stunning, more sophisticated web pages and applications. Thank you for joining us.